Cheers, guys, and welcome to Uncle Scott's Pancast. We have a very special edition today because we are joined by our good friend Jed from Cook Culture. Hi, Jed. How's it going?
Hey Scott, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to talk all kinds of cookware stuff, and then in a few minutes, Jed has the new Misen, supposedly nonstick pan, and he's going to cook an egg with no butter. Is that right?
They say it's a nonstick out of the box, so then we'll see.
Okay, we're going to
I
try
just
it.
opened this.
Jed is man enough to try cooking a sliding nonstick egg live on camera. So we'll see how that goes here in just a few minutes. So, how is everything going, Jed? We haven't talked since I think it was around Christmas last fall,
Yeah.
and we were going to do this chat in February, I think, and
Yep. Then
just
someone
now
got busy
finally
with a little
getting to it.
baby.
It's only about 6 months behind or so. So everything's working like a Swiss watch, just like normal.
Fair. Yeah. Well, we all don't have newborns at home there, Scott.
That's right. And I should point out here, there's a very tight window here. My little infant daughter is asleep, and my wife is asleep. So talk fast. We got we got a very short window here.
You
So
got it. All right.
it
So
looks like you
what are we
were.
talking about today?
Let's see. Let's check in on just what's new at Cook Culture. Anything huge going on? Getting ready for Black Friday, or
Yeah, definitely. Cook culture has changed quite a bit in the last year. I closed the retail stores. And I'm really just focusing on the YouTube channel. We still sell
okay.
retail gear through our website. But I have been doing other things in my life also outside of this space. But I'm still very, very heavily involved in the YouTube side of things and really enjoying keeping my ear to the ground on what's happening and the movements of our industry.
And looking forward to a big holiday season. What do you think is going to be big for the holidays?
I think the core stuff is going to be good. I think it's going to be interesting if we talk a little bit about tariffs today and what that's going to affect some pricing in America and in North America. But I think
Yeah.
really coming down to people getting a great deal on a good oven and Dutch oven that is, and just some good quality cookware. We're going to touch hopefully today on the sale to buyer of to Groupe SEB, and if that's going to affect some of the pricing around Dubai, that'll be interesting.
What are you seeing so far with the tariffs? Have you? I know you talked to a lot of the
Well, from a
retailers
Canadian,
or the
I'm on the other side of the
manufacturers.
border. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the
Yeah.
border from you. So, we feel like we're the abused younger brother up here. Uh,
Are you
and
ready to become the 51st state yet? Or are you still
I don't know if
holding
we
out?
should open that can of worms in this channel, Scott. But
Oh, Lord.
we had retaliatory tariffs that you probably
Yeah.
knew of, and what that did, it heavily affected really the price of cast iron coming up out of the states. So Lodge
Okay.
got heavily hit here, and basically just stopped all sales of Lodge in the Canadian marketplace, which is really
Wow.
unfortunate because Lodge is. I've said this before. I'll say it again. It's the best quality, least expensive, non-stick style long-term option.
One.
There it is on the market, right? Like nobody
Yep.
touches Lodge when it comes to the quality. Well, maybe Victoria Cookware out of Columbia is a close second, but what Lodge does in North America is extraordinary, and nobody does
And
it.
what are is it 25% or what is it right now? Do you know?
Well, in we've now given up the retaliatory tariffs. Those were just eliminated about 10 days ago
Okay.
here from Canada. So our tariffs coming into Canada on cast iron are now gone, which is great. So now hopefully the pricing will go back to normal on Lodge. But I think it was at least 25% coming into Canada that Canada had opposed as a
Okay.
retaliatory tariff.
It's amazing. Something like a Lodge 12-inch. I was looking at them on Amazon the other day, and I think they were only 29 bucks. So I don't know,
American, yeah,
is it
in America.
25% on the retail? So it should still be relatively cheap, but
Well, when you
maybe
put in the shipping and the duties and the expenses, so the way that Lodge comes to say the west coast of BC, where I am, it
yeah.
comes from not Nashville. Where is it? That anyways, somewhere down south,
It's in Tennessee. It's in Tennessee. Yeah.
Tennessee. Thank you. And then it goes. You know that part of the world better than I do. It goes to Toronto, which is a couple
Yeah.
of thousand kilometers, a few miles, thousand miles away, and then it comes from Toronto all the way to BC. So the amount of
Okay.
shipping that you pay on a pan is extraordinary. The raw cost of the pan is not much, but once it gets
Yeah.
here, you're going to be paying at retail with the tariffs for that same pan around $100 Canadian dollars.
Wow. No way,
Yep.
man.
right? You know,
And
we're
I don't
not
know
just
the exchange rate. What is Canadian dollar and American dollar? How much
about
would that be US?
35% somewhere in there, I think, right now. So 35
So
cents on the
maybe
dollar.
60 to $70, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 60 to $70
Okay.
in there, right? So it's double
Yeah.
easy,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Which
And then I
starts
guess
getting expensive for
yeah, it
logs,
does. Yep.
right? So, you know, at
Yep.
Bass Pro
Definitely.
Shops where you can buy a ton of it, like you walk in, there's tons of it, you know, they're sitting
Yeah.
on a huge amount of inventory that's just not going anywhere.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
maybe it's going to be interesting to see what goes on with sales around Black Friday because
yeah.
already kind of hearing people might with the tariffs. I don't know what discounts are going to be if they're
Well,
going to be as big as they are in the past were in
are
the
you
past
finding
or
like what's the appetite down there? Like, are you finding Americans are just kind of, you know, tightening up their wallets, sitting on their hands a little bit?
you know. I think it depends. I think once you get into the higher end, fancier cookware, I don't think that segment of the market is price sensitive. Whereas the lower end of the market, like if somebody can afford a $30 frying pan and it goes up to 60, like we were just talking,
Yep.
that's probably a bigger deal than
Sure.
someone that can afford a $500 copper going up to 600,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
or,
And
or
tariffs.
whatever. So
Yep.
so it
Yep.
just depends, I think, on the what part of the market you're in,
But
really.
what about somebody like, you know, a Matt for Dubai, where it's a middle of the range, right? I'd say, you know, your everyday man is going to be like, hey, I'll buy one at $65, but if it goes up to $105, we're talking like, you know, you know, middle average income sort of guy. Like, where do you think like that's where the bulk of the volume of that brand and those brands are in America? No.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it shakes out. I know, on a tangent, that beef prices are just through the roof here. Eggs were up last year. Eggs went down, but I reviewed a Debouille steak pan a week or two ago, and one of the steaks I bought was like $36 for one steak.
Wow.
So once you get to, if people are used to paying $30 for a steak or whatever, then
Yeah.
suddenly maybe the 90 or $100 pan doesn't seem so outrageous if it only costs three times the amount of the
Yeah. But, you know, $30
food
for
going in
this.
there. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
For,
just have to see how it shakes out.
yeah. That's a lot of money. That's a big increase.
Yeah,
Can of beans is pretty cheap.
and I think some of the retailers, once the tariffs, when they first started them back in the spring, I think they kind of imported a bunch of inventory and kind of
Yep.
stocked up at the lower price.
Yep.
And as they work through that, and then they got the more expensive tariff stuff coming in behind it, I'm sure prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
But I
Unfortunately.
don't know. We'll just see how it goes. So
Yeah. Yeah, you know,
they
we're
always say the cure for high prices is high prices. So if they get too expensive, they won't sell and they'll have to cut them. So, so
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
everything, you know, when America gets a cold, we'll get more sneezes, so as the saying
Yeah.
goes, you know, we Canada gets cold, right? So whatever goes on with you guys, you know, it affects us directly. No matter how, you know, independent Canada tries to be, we are just under
Yeah.
that shadow. It just is what it is. So,
And then sometimes like with the enamel cast iron, the Le Creuset, the
yep,
stoves. There's always such a difference between the list price and the sale price around the holidays anyway. It's always
sure.
squishy. And,
Sure.
sometimes it's like a 40-50% discount. You find, one piece or one color on sale. So
Yep.
I'm sure there's going to be some deals out there on some stuff, but
Sure.
that's what it's going
Zwilling
to
will
be. Yeah.
absolutely be playing that game throughout Christmas
Yeah.
100%. So, you know, anybody who's
Yeah.
interested in like, you know, Le Creuset always follows along, but Zwilling is wonderfully aggressive when it comes to delivering a small amount of the goods at a very, very, very sharp pricing. So Zwilling is a place to look for
Yeah.
Black Friday for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep.
All right. That's enough on tariffs. I mean, we're
Yep.
going for people to stay awake. Okay. Also, in the cookware kind of business end of things, Debouille got bought out by Group. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's French. Group
Group SEB.
SEB, Group SEB,
Yep.
and they're now part of the same kind of conglomerate as Allclad and
Yep.
Tefal and
Yep.
all kinds of other
Next.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's,
What do you
you
think
know,
about?
it's hard to say. Like I've dealt with Group SEB for a long time.
Uh,
Yeah, like I don't know, 30 years, maybe 25 years. And they
yeah.
are, you know, they're a big conglomerate. They just do their business. They are huge and hard to kind of like deal with on a one-to-one sort of level. So like if you're trying to like, hey, let's do this unique thing, or let's like I want to work with my customers to offer them something neat and unique, what can you do?
Yeah.
And that like they don't really do that. So I guess what I'm saying in that is that that kind of fear of where Dubai is so nichey, it's so particularly kind of small to that type of customer that's looking for what
Yeah.
that is, they won't be able to be as responsive to the market or really maybe understand who their core customer is. It's going to be a lot
Okay.
more just a commodity. And that
Ah,
maybe that will be benefit. Maybe they'll increase the volume and bring the price down and have better distribution and get it further around the world. Like there could be benefits. Like when Zwilling has done that in the past, there's only been benefits. Like when they bought Stobe, I was a customer of Stobe well before it was owned by Zwilling, and it was
yeah.
difficult to get and to buy and distribute, and it was pricey because of the way that it came from France all the way to the west coast of BC. But it was so cool and so unique, and it was different than Le Creuset. I really wanted it, and then Zwilling bought it, and all of a sudden everything was available. The pricing went down. Free freight from Toronto. Everything became just easier, and I could sell way more of it. So it could be really beneficial, or it could all of a sudden get diluted, and it could end up being something that they really didn't understand what they had. It's hard to say. Groupe SEB could go
Yeah.
either way with that.
And it'd probably be a little bit of both. It always shakes out. I
I hope
just
so.
so on a personal level, I always say that I'm their first ever affiliate partner online, and the people I work with in New York, I haven't noticed anything drastic as far as changes so far.
Yeah.
So they're still pretty good to work with, at least
Okay.
on my
Good.
end.
Good.
Yeah.
And you thinking you usually get some nice discount codes for your viewers at Black Friday and that sort of thing. You see that coming again this
Yeah,
year?
Black Friday. Go ahead and put in a plug here. There will be an exclusive sale coming for Uncle Scott's Kitchen users on the Bouye stuff. So I
Excellent.
can't release the details yet, but something is coming. So make
Awesome.
sure you are subscribed and notifications are turned on if you want to know when that sale hits. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the sale
Yeah.
usually, when I'm watching you and following along, I drool over your American pricing because like we don't have the same deals here in Canada. And
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
oh, the stuff that you're offering to your viewers is fantastic. So yeah, if I was in the market in the US, I'd be following along for that sale too.
Oh, just the other things I was going to note just on the acquisitions. I mean, it's been 5 years or so, but I guess Lodge bought out Finex,
Finex,
and
yeah.
I've been doing a little of, and then Yeti bought out Butterpat. So there's
Yeah.
definitely, and it'll probably continue to be, some consolidation, I'm sure. And especially as
Yeah.
things get tough, some of these smaller companies may want to join in, become part of a bigger company. It might
The,
help
the
them out
American
too.
cast iron market seems kind of gotten kind of saturated. There seems to be
Yeah.
less enthusiasm around it, like especially compared to how it was when it was growing so rapidly and all the companies were jumping into it. And I don't know if that was a beneficial purchase for Lodge with Finex. I haven't seen them do anything big or crazy with it. It just kind of ticks along and does its thing.
They seem to keep them pretty well separated. So you kind of got the
Definitely.
high end Finex brand and
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Finex here.
Yep.
I just started doing some. I bought this. It's been less than a year ago, but I'm just now getting around to doing some content on it.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like I don't,
Yeah,
I like it. I like that they do a really nice finishing on the base pan. I just find
yeah.
the shape to it, the octagonal shape to it, just I
It's
don't know.
kind of crazy. And then the handle is either people are going to love it or hate it. It's
Yeah,
kind of a personal preference thing
and
there.
I just wasn't a gigantic fan. I think it's a totally fine pan. It's a good quality pan. It works well. It just wasn't for me. It was too much, too many things going
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I wouldn't want the entire 15-piece set of Finexes, but I think having one as a conversation piece
Yeah,
is kind of unique and it stands out in a nice
agreed.
kitchen, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't want 15 Finex pans.
Yeah.
I don't
You
think.
know who
Yeah.
I think has taken that inspiration and really crushed it is the guys at Copper State Forge. That's the
Oh
carbon
yeah.
steel guys down in Goodyear, Arizona, just outside of.
Okay.
They do their shovel pan, and it's got a little bit of that kind of style in the front of it, and it's a fantastic pan. It's excellent, and then it's a lighter carbon steel, but just the way in which that it
Yeah.
works for flipping is awesome.
Yeah, I like the one of those ones. The Smithy farmhouse carbon steel. I really like the handle on that. It's kind of unique
Yeah,
looking.
those are
So
beautifully done. Beautifully done. Those guys, from a aesthetic point of view, I don't know if anybody does it better.
yeah, yeah. And I guess if the cast iron and carbon steel on a molecular level is all very similar, yeah, I mean, you really got to do something with the handle or the design to kind of differentiate a little bit,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I give them credit for trying.
yeah, or not. You take like a field where a field just wanted to make it exactly like it was, 100 years ago, and they crush it and they continue to crush it. It's just a simple, simple, simple pan, and it
Yeah,
works as advertised.
I don't have a field yet, but that's on the list for.
Yep.
I'm kind of getting my shopping list ready for Black Friday too, so I'm
Yeah,
got
well,
field pan on.
doing a really good job on offering some good value. They do a lot of bundled sets. You'll see that often where you'll buy like a pan, a lid, a flipper, and a scrubber, and a few different things as a
Yeah.
valued bundle, and they're great.
Not to get Jed going here, but I'm also going to bring up nonstick cookware. And I know Jed is always on his soapbox about this, but I noticed recently, the reason I bring this up, I don't know if it's news in Canada, but California is considering banning, I think it's the PFAS and nonstick cookware and some other categories too, where they use the coatings. But the cookware is the one we're interested in around here.
Yep.
There is a, let's see, let me see here. There's an industry group called, it may be Protect Safe Cookware.
Cookware
There's
Sustainability
opposed to
Alliance.
this. Yeah, I'll make sure I get that right. So I'm not
Yep.
sure. I think,
Cookware
yeah.
Sustainability Alliance.
What do you think about that? So I know we don't like the nonstick stuff, but are you in favor of the government's actually going to the step of banning it and saying people can't use it?
Well, yeah, like, that is the thing of like, how far do we allow the government to step into our life to control every single aspect? However, if you look at the industry itself and the history of the industry, it's been abhorrent how they've behaved over the last 70, 80 years, and how
Yeah.
now every single human and almost every single animal on the planet has PFAS chemicals, forever chemicals in their body. And these are chemicals that have been linked to a host of different cancers and deformities of childbirth, and just it's ridiculous when you get into it. And that's as far as I'm going to go today, because you know how I get on this.
Right.
However, like it's not so much trying to protect us from ourselves. It's really trying to, after so much time of giving the industry so much time to kind of clean up its act, and it just really doesn't, because the value, the margin, the money that's able to be made from creating the nonstick cookware and selling the nonstick cookware, and the margin spread on that is ridiculous. So the profitability of these companies is extreme, and they have shown clearly that they just cannot move themselves away from using these chemicals. And so the government is stepping in, and they've been doing it slowly for quite a long time. And now it's getting to a point where they're making some massive moves. California, as you're bringing up, a few other states, New York is another one. And there's a battle going on here, a little bit between left and right, red and blue. Yeah. But there are some red states also that are adopting, these kind of terminated sort of laws because of the behavior of the companies. And customers going to the retail stores being like, well, they're selling it, it must be good for us. So like, we just keep buying it because it's convenient. And that's where this big problem is. And that's why the government's stepping in.
And so I'm going to admit I'm a little bit of a hypocrite on this type of stuff, because when California was trying to ban gas stoves in New York as well, I was against the government banning the gas stoves. I want people to be able to choose whatever they want to cook on. And then here comes the nonstick thing, and I'm like, well, maybe banning the nonstick, not such a bad idea, but I don't know. I got a little bit of hypocrisy there myself.
And I think that it comes from a place where, like, the gas stoves, they haven't ever tried to tell us that the gas stoves are something that they're not. Where the cover up and the history of what's happened within PFAS chemicals is extraordinary, and the amount of money that is being paid, had to be paid out by the companies like DuPont and 3M because of their behavior and the cover up of what they've done with the chemicals is extraordinary. So the gas stove companies haven't behaved in the same way. So consumers should have the choice. You have gas stove, don't have gas stove, whatever you want to do. Where the deception and the lies that have gone around the nonstick cookware industry and the way they've just changed the chemical composure in slight amount so that they continue to sell the same thing basically is
Yeah.
misleading to the consumers. And so consumers, like, they don't spend the time that you and I do in this space. They just want to go buy a
No.
pan that works, right? And so they go to the hardware store, they buy a pan and it's like, hey, great, it says all this good stuff on the label. It's going to do my job, right? Where they're not realizing that maybe the pan itself is doing nothing to them. The pan itself could be completely inert and benign, but the chemicals that are made that go into the surface are incredibly toxic and damaging, and they do make their way into the environment, and they still do. It just is what it is.
We've got you waving your metal turner there. You kind of, yeah.
Okay, you get me on my soapbox, Scott. I try not to.
Let's jump into the Misen pan.
Yes.
And I actually had people asking me about this this week, and I kept saying, Jed's coming on, and he's got one. He's going to let us know. So
yeah. So
what is the rundown on the pan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rundown. So you remember when Strata came on the market, right? I talked to you about this in a lot of detail at the time. So this is a Strata 8-inch pan, and it was the very first carbon steel aluminum based clad cookware brand made.
Right.
They solved the problem that existed in the marketplace that no one else had come to at that point. So the problem there is that a lot of people, especially a lot of baby boomers, that are getting to the point where they want to buy better quality, they want to buy once, they don't want to keep buying disposable cookware, but they don't want heavy. They didn't want stainless steel that can be problematic to cook with for nonstick, and they didn't want heavy cookware. So they wanted a carbon steel or cast iron based pan that was light, and that didn't exist. So these guys, Strata, came up with it. They made a Chinese-made clad aluminum cord carbon steel pan, and boom, it just took off. It was hugely successful. They continue to sell lots of the cookware, and it's a great cookware. So,
and I need to do some more Strata stuff myself. I got one of the pans, but it was right when my daughter was born, and it kind of got shuffled off to the side. I need to get back into doing some Strata content.
Absolutely.
At some point.
It's great cookware, great people, great cookware, great design. Really happy with it. So Misen, who I've followed for a long time, and I've reviewed their cookware years ago on my channel, they decided to do exactly the same thing that I knew that somebody was going to. This was too good for somebody not to kind of come into it. Strata had created a patent for their cookware specifically. So these guys did a clad pan that is nitrided. So nitriding, that is putting a pan, the carbon pan, into a hot oven under some sort of pressure with an ammonia oxide that then burns off the ammonia, and then the nitrogen is left over and impregnates itself in the surface of the pan. And
does that eventually wear off?
It can, if it's not.
Does seasoning kind of get the layers of seasoning build up on top of that, or does it replace it, or what?
Two great questions. So the nitriding can be done quickly and easily. That just creates a very thin surface, or it can be left in and goes deeper. And so you hope the brand is going to make a deeper one that will not be just skin deep. And Misen, they don't say how deep they go, but they say they've done a high quality pan. So we'll see. Time.
Do you know? Just I was thinking. Let's see, where did I put it? I've got, and I never did much on these. I've got an OXO and a Merton and Stork.
Yep. The OXO. I've reviewed the OXO on this channel before.
Is it the same? Is it similar? Or those nitrided? Because I kind of messed with them a little bit, but I was never really all that interested in them.
The OXO never advertised itself in as being nitrided or not, but it did work. I think they've blued the surface of the OXO, and that's why it was pretty nonstick out of the box. Right, where this is actually nitrided. So with the nitriding, they sell, and then hold on a second, I'll grab this here. So this here is the little sheet that comes with it. And as you can see, they say right there, nonstick out of the box. You can see that? Right? So they are selling this as a nonstick out of the box pan, which, that's interesting. That's a bold claim, as you know, right? So I was fascinated. And so that's where we're at right now. So I'm thinking
You gonna cook an egg?
let's get this on the cooktop, and I'll cook an egg, and we'll see what happens with this nonstick out of the box with no fat. Like it's supposed to.
I gotta say, it looks a little more scenic there than my kitchen here inside. Could you kind of give us a view here?
Yeah. I can give you a view. So, what I love to do is cook outside.
Holy cow!
Yeah, by the ocean, as much as I can. So, I cook with my old Camp Chef stove, and I love to be outside and cook outside as much as I can in the summertime.
All right, and you're not going to use any butter. I'm very worried that you're not using any butter.
Yeah. No. So, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna get this guy on.
Okay, so Jed is going to attempt to cook you're going to fry an egg in the new Misen pan.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be non-stick, and I'm already worried about this because Jed says he is not going to use any oil or butter.
No oil.
I am afraid.
No oil, no butter. That's what it calls for. It says the Misen pan. They say that it's non-stick out of the box. And like the reality is non-stick out of the box. If we use oil and butter, we're going to make anything non-stick, right? You know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. So they say non-stick out of the box,
and it will taste very good too if you have
exactly
your fried egg.
So, trying to do this. All right.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Now, are you going to try and slide this thing, or are you going to flip him? Uh-oh, I lost something. Okay, there we're back. Okay.
Okay. I am going to let it cook here for a sec, and then we're going to see what we can do with sliding it. So that wasn't a very graceful egg put on trying to hold the phone. So for the viewers at home, Scott and I have technology coming to the yin yang here. We're talking to each other through two different types of technology, and I'm recording above this video. So that's why my phone, as you guys can see here, was in the way, so that Scott can see what I'm doing. You guys at home are watching what I've recorded through my camera, but this is what Scott and I can do to make this happen.
Well, at least the yolk didn't break. So
no, the yolk didn't break. Spread out a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. So you got some browning going on there, Scott, as you can see.
Yeah.
So there's the edging. So see, it's interesting seeing the lifting off there, eh?
Yeah.
You can see that. Yeah. So.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so
that is tough to not use any fat for a fried egg. I don't care what kind of pan you use.
All right, so.
You
got.
Okay, maybe it's like a peel and stick. Maybe it's like a sticker. Maybe you can just kind of.
Yeah,
turn it around.
Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so it's not just coming off, but
no, it's not.
What do you think? Spatula time? No. Time for the spatula?
Yeah, time for the spatula. That doesn't look too bad, I guess. It's at least coming out.
What's going on over there? Oh.
Okay.
That's a bit of a user error, I'd say there, Scott. Bit of a user error. But okay, let's take the user error out of here with that egg yolk. Yeah. That's where we're at with the white.
It's a little brown for me, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a little brown. It's also very dry.
Yeah.
Right?
You need some butter. Get some butter in that pan.
Yeah, you do need some butter in that pan. So that, I probably could have delivered that egg onto that pan a little bit better.
Well, it's not really stuck though.
It's not stuck.
The turner is not fused to the pan.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Definitely not. Right. So it's definitely doing kind of
is somewhere between the hockey puck and stuck. It's
and that's what's left over on the pan there.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
So if we look at that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's do what you and I would do. Take a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's be real, about the flavor of this thing, right? So if it's olive oil or it's butter or it's whatever, but having some fat involved matters.
Fat helps, yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this better. One hand egg.
Oh, one hand egg, wow.
All right.
But do you only have butter there, or do you have some oil as well?
No, just butter.
Okay.
Just butter, just doing simple. So I just kept it really simple. Like sometimes, as you know, you and I know, like a nice half tablespoon of oil and a nice pat of butter, and it just floats around in that fat.
That works really well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It works really well, and it tastes great, right? So like, you know, that's wonderful. But what we're trying to do here, okay.
Okay, let's move it. I can see it's not, you're off camera. Just look, there you go. So I would say that's, okay. There you go. That's the hockey puck egg. I would say. Are you going to nail the flip live on camera?
Karen, a little bit. You ready?
No pressure.
No pressure? Okay.
No pressure. Yeah.
Hey! There we go. Like I've done that before. All right. So what do you think about for the whiteness of that one, Scott?
That's a lot better. Yes, that's a lot better. I like.
Yeah. You're happy with that? Yeah. If I serve that for you for breakfast, you'd be happy?
I would definitely eat that on a piece of toast and a cup of coffee for breakfast.
That boy. All right. Well, I'm gonna let that cook, and here we'll come back to camera.
Hey, 2 eggs. What do you think right out of the box?
Well, I think it does what it does. Like, I mean, I could have delivered that egg onto the pan first time better without holding the camera and being awkward. So there was some user error there, but really we could see it was doing what it was supposed to do. It's a very dry, bland egg, but you know, people that are, you know, the reality, you're cooking without oil. If you're that type of person that can't use oil, and I've had many people tell me, and they're like, hey, that's all great and fine, but I can't cook with oil. I can't eat oil. Oil for me, it affects my cholesterol way too much. And I'm one of those rare people that cannot cook with oil. Okay, fair enough. I think you could do exactly that now. I think you could cook without oil. I think it's a little bit bland, but if that's a health reason that you need to be cooking, you want to get away from nonstick and you want to use something that is more natural, then okay, that's a win, right? You can do it.
Yeah.
I think the results there of how you and I would cook an egg, you know, if we're going to use oil, butter, or just oil, that's a win. That thing did exactly as it was supposed to.
All right. So there you have it on the new Misen pan from Jed, straight from the horse's mouth. Not exactly.
So the question, as you brought up, the question still is, so the non-stick ability of the pan is excellent out of the pan there with some fat out of the box.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen as we go forward? So if you keep cooking...
Yeah, what if you cook it 30 times? What's going to happen, you know?
Like, does it create a regular nonstick surface that is maybe less, or is it more? That time will tell. We're going to have to come back to this, Scott.
And on those nitrite, do you need to re-season those every now and then, or you just let it build up naturally, or what do you have to do?
They say no, and I would say, like, if this is nonstick like this out of the box, and you were to strip your seasoning, because they say you can cook acidic foods with it. So say that you do, you know, a tomato-based whatever, or you know, somehow try to deglaze the pan, even though you don't have anything stuck to it. But say that you use something acidic, and you do strip any sort of seasoning you have on it, you're going to come back to the nitrite, and it seems to work really well as it is. So I would say that you don't need to re-season or do anything to it. Just use it as it is and see how it goes. Like everything that we use, you want to make sure that you're keeping it clean, and you're using something like the nitriting is very strong. You can use metal tools, you can use a chainmail scrubby, you can use what you want to make sure that any sort of carbon buildup on it, you get off as soon as you possibly can. Carbon is the worst.
And what is that, a 10-inch, a 12-inch? What size?
This was an 8 because I use the 8 Strata all the time. So I bought the pan that I wanted to compare exactly to my Strata pan that is very, very, very well conditioned. And so, you know, my next experiment that I'm going to do, because I'm creating a video specifically on this one, is how does it compare to a seasoned Strata?
And then how much do they cost? Are they expensive or not as much?
They're very similar. So they Kickstarter had their kind of pre sale. So I think it ended up being about $140 Canadian when the Misen pan showed up. And I think it's about $145 before tax for the Strata pan. So the Strata is a little bit more expensive than the...
And the Misens, they're made over in Asia. Are they Chinese or somewhere in Asia?
Same.
Oh, they're USA? Okay.
USA? No, sorry, China.
Okay.
Yeah.
China made.
China made. So same as Strata. You're not going to be able to hit that price point for an American made thing. You know, lots of people have asked, and I've talked to Strata many times about, hey guys, like there's a certain cohort do not want to buy a Chinese made pan. When are you going to make a Strata pan in the US?
Yep.
They say that there's plans in the works, and we'll see whatever happens there.
All righty.
Yeah.
And then what was I going to ask? It just, I mean, just initial reactions. How do you think it compares to kind of some of the traditional carbon steel that we talk about all the time?
I think that I would need to have more time with it. This is brand new. Like I've only just started testing it now. So I think I need some more time. I found like my Strata pan has replaced my Dubai 8-inch pan. I just love how lightweight it is. The non-stick ability is exactly the same. It works exactly the same results. And it's just so light as an 8-inch that I pull out and use all the time. It's in the drying rack. It goes back on the stove. It hardly even goes back into the cupboard because I use it so much. So
yeah, I'm kind of on the old fuddy-duddy end. I still kind of like the traditional European stuff. And when I got that Merton Historic and that OXO, they just, I don't, for some reason, I just didn't want to use them. So I don't.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So we'll see. I had to try the nitride at some point.
Yeah, like I still very much use my 12.5-inch Dubai Mineral B Pro that I love for my main big pan, and nothing's going to replace that. I have a 12-inch Strata, and it's just that weight for that style of cooking, that heaviness on the stovetop. I love it. But just from an egg pan, I love that lightness to it when it comes to the Strata. It's just such a
Fair enough.
That's me.
Yep. Okay, so shout out to Jed for cooking a fried egg live on camera. First time in a new pan. So that took some courage right there. We're going to wrap up this conversation now. We really do appreciate having Jed on. Make sure you check out Cook Culture for all kinds of great cookware and cooking videos. Thank you for watching Uncle Scott's Pancast podcast, and we'll see you again next time.